But you're here. You're here,
All
Raf.
right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to PreMarket Prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible day yesterday. Good morning, Peter. How are you doing, my friend?
Uh, Carlos, good morning. I am thinking that West Coasters are insane.
The traders, at least, yes.
It is It is like zero dark 30 here, and it's funny. We got the room about half filled with our conference goers, presumably those that are on the West Coast, because everybody on the East Coast is going, "What is wrong with all of you?" So I don't know, but anyways, it's good. We're gathering. It's day two of our conference. It's going fantastic, as you can see. Well, it sort of looks like I'm on stage, and I am. So sitting
Yeah,
up in front of everyone. So we should have a good morning and a good day ahead of us.
absolutely, man. Glad to hear that. All right, guys, let's get into it. Let's look at our gappers list this morning. So a couple of names on here. Some low flow stocks in place at the moment, and then some names we never heard of. And one we're very familiar with, I believe this Expedia, I believe it is, which doesn't, I
Yeah.
think it's Expedia, doesn't trade very well, but they must have had earnings. Is the only time we actually see them anywhere near our gappers list. Just a horrible trading ticker. But outside of that, oh, we have AI. Did AI had earnings already? I believe they might have. I know they were, yeah, post earnings after hours yesterday, and this thing is up
Hmm.
20%. So still got some juice in it. We'll check what's going on there on AI this morning. On the gap side of things, the gap down, we do have a couple of names here. A lot of Bitcoin stuff not doing so hot this morning. Coin, Riot, Mara, all down today quite significantly. And then we also have HGPT, which is, I believe, ChargePoint, and some other names I'm not too familiar with. So not a bad gappers list. None of our usual suspects or things that we're used to seeing on this list this morning. But that's okay. We'll dive into that and see what's moving there. Quick look at what took place yesterday, guys. Let's take a look at it. I only had three tickers on my list: Tesla, Snow, and Apple, and actually all traded very decent, especially Snow, which was my trade on yesterday. Take a look at Tesla here on the 5 minute. So we'll dive into the action. Every pre-market for Tesla, guys. If you're trading Tesla pre-market and you have an edge, you are probably doing very well, because it seems like every pre-market activity, you're getting such great movement, a really nice range of the highs and the lows on Tesla. And you can see here at the market open, it did take off really nicely all the way to some of the levels we had up here. From there, it gets a little bit top. It goes sideways for a while, but again, you had a really nice move here at the beginning of the opening hours there. Snow, on the other hand, really surprised a lot. Was this thing traded very well, and we were able to take a short on this here. As you can see, it dropped nicely all the way down to some levels down here. So not bad on Snow. You're not going to get a great action out of this one, but actually did pretty good yesterday. And then we have our usual suspect, Apple, which had a really rough start, just going sideways for the most part, and then eventually taking off here. But again, tough trader yesterday. Apple just doesn't seem to trade well. We've been talking about this the last couple of days. We spoke about it yesterday as well, Peter, where it's just, we're not getting these type of moves anymore, right? On Apple, we're getting some really
Yeah,
good dailies.
and like we'd said, we were watching that level to see if it would drop that level, and it looks like it pulled back, which has put it back into that thin range that it's in. So, yeah, Apple is not looking like a prime target for me at this point.
Yeah, it's definitely not a fun one. But we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, it'll come back to some good trading. But right now, it's not doing a whole lot that we like at the moment. Uh, Peter, what's the latest and greatest for today as we get this Friday going? We had a very eventful week, especially with Tesla. What do we have going on as far as the overall market?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to ask you before we do that. Hopefully, yesterday at the close went well. I was here at the conference and wasn't able to trade the close. I didn't get any trades off in the morning, so I watched the market. Nothing set up for me, so I exercised my discipline and stayed out of the markets. But hopefully, the close went well.
Yeah, actually, for me, it's pretty quiet because I'm not really actively looking for opportunities at that time. But the market was bouncing back pretty aggressive. Like if you was watching the stocks around 2 o'clock or so, Like if you were, if you were on board here on 2 o'clock, a little bit before the close, things were already looking very extended. But if you're watching, I'll show you the SPY here, by the way, yesterday, and you can see the rip that we had, and many tickers, man, were doing so well. So right here, it just started just gunning here. You can see how well that
Wow.
did.
I,
So yeah, if you're
I thought
watching
I
the
told
close,
you
it did well.
if you're covering the close for me, you have to trade a 1 to 10. You didn't trade one?
I did not trade that. I did not go for that.
Okay.
I'm sticking to my plan, my
Anyone in
friend.
the room? Anyone in the room? You tried, Kirby? It didn't work out, eh?
There were some trades in the room that actually were pretty good. Some people got in on was it Zoom? I forget if it was Zoom. Some
All
people got
right.
in on
Well,
Zoom, Tesla, Nvidia.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Took some
Well,
bounces there.
good. Then maybe I didn't miss anything if they didn't set up yesterday. So that's okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Anyways, I distracted us. But
No,
yeah, so
all good.
today, fairly quiet. It's a Friday, so typically what happens on Fridays, right? Quieter market activity, less economic sort of news and announcements. Globally, if I'm looking around, the futures are looking generally positive, up slightly around the world. The Nikkei looks fine, and in Europe we're up marginally. Here back in North America. As you can see, we got a couple of announcements, nothing that really moves the market, right? The global PMI, the ISM services that are coming out at 9:45 and 10 respectively, you don't tend to see any reaction. A couple more Fed heads, can I call them that? Anyways, that are
Yeah,
speaking
you
today
can.
at 11 and 3. But frankly, the market has shown that it largely doesn't care. So there's only one Fed speaker that they want to listen to and cause a big reaction for, and he's not talking today. So I think that we should have a fairly normal Friday, relatively quiet. We should get some good action at the open as we always do, and it'll get quieter as the day goes on. So um, with that being said, Carlos, we have a couple of earnings, but nothing major. It looks like we're starting to ramp down on earnings season. So, we'll get fewer and fewer of the big companies that we tend to watch that we can sort of trade on those earnings announcements. But, well, we're going to get to the gappers here in a second, but I'm seeing some interesting activity happening in the crypto space with, Coin and Mara and Riot all on list. But again, we'll talk about those more in a couple minutes here.
Yeah, I agree. Coin is a lot of them are down this morning. Coin, Mara, Ride, all on deck today. So we'll get to that and see what's happening there. Let's start over here with REVE. And ooh, that doesn't look too good. Hold on. Am I looking at the right thing here? Let's move forward. And yeah, this is not great. So they're up 27%, guys, 275,000. But just the overall action here looks horrible. Oh yeah, even the daily looks pretty bad here. So we'll skip on this. I'm gonna go ahead and remove our your watch list from yesterday. Is clean that up. And yeah, unless you have something good on that, Peter, not something we really want to look at.
No, it looks like it was recently re-released as an IPO. Like if you look at this REVE, anyways, there's nothing to report there. Now AI, you've got on the screen.
Yeah,
AI is another story. They had earnings last night. Was it last night or this morning? Anyways, they've had earnings. They beat their numbers, which was generally seen as positive, and they had pretty good guidance. So AI has been on the list on and off over the last week or so, and we're seeing it back up here. Before it was because of the buzz in the sector. It's
yeah,
just generally seen as a positive sign that they've got good earnings that just keeps people interested. I think AI might be a good play today because it's moving pretty well pre-market. As you say, almost 1.5 million shares traded. So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
liking the movement on it, and we'll see where it goes. The gap here, on the daily is putting us to the top of a range that is interesting as well, right? If we can break out and sustain the levels it's moving to right now as we speak, we could be setting up for a pretty good open.
Yeah, I agree. This one's looking good today. I have not yet traded this one since it started hitting our radar here and doing some stuff, but I do like it for today, man. The pre-market action looks great. You're up 1.5 million. I'm sorry, you have 1.5 million shares traded, up 20%. I mean, everything from this is clicking. Plus the earnings this morning looks to be treating them very well so far in the market. So yeah, adding them to the list, looking really nice there. Next, we have LPSN, and this one's not looking so hot, up 10%, oh, 9% almost, 125,000. But for the most part, it just looks horrible. Let's move on down to BBWI, and this one looks even worse. So we'll skip on this one. And Peter, unless you have any news, it should be worth watching. I'll just skip on to the next one. Here we have EXPE. Oh, EXP. I would have thought something else would have been going on here, but just a block trade looks like. So not really much activity out of this one. Just want to make sure my chart is updated correctly. Let me reload that again, just in case. Yeah, so nothing really happening here right now. Just one block trade here, causing it to go on our gappers list. Is there any news on it?
Yeah, I was surprised. I was surprised to see Expedia here on the list because it doesn't normally trade all that well. I'm not a big
Yeah.
fan, anyways. Even when it has earnings, it never trades up. This morning, I you know I saw some news. I think one of their affiliates are VRBO, and VRBO is saying that they're sort of fallen behind here with Airbnb. I don't know if they've been advertising pretty heavily, at least in Canada they have
Mm-hmm.
recently, and sort of trying to differentiate themselves from Airbnb. But I think generally there's just a feeling that they're not sort of keeping up with Airbnb in the marketplace. But Expedia's up this morning, and like you said, it seems to be on nothing specific that I can identify. If in the room or on YouTube you guys have some news that you can share with me, I'd love to hear it. But yeah, I don't know why it's moving.
Yeah, I don't see anything great on it. Let's head on down to KR, which is Kroger, which typically doesn't trade very well. I know they were gapping up yesterday. I believe they had earnings pre-market yesterday, and they're getting a little bit of a pop continuation this morning. But again, their volume and their pre-market and their activity is just so light compared to the tickers that we usually like to see. Today they had 13 million shares to. I'm sorry, yesterday they had 13 million shares. Today they're probably going to get less and just get back to their regular trading activity, right? So I don't think there's much to see here at the moment, at least. Um, Next
No,
on our, yeah.
Kroger is really just it's just sort of a second day play, right? Because they had their earnings and news that happened yesterday.
Hmm.
Again, it's one of those that disappoints me all the time. I watch it with anticipation and excitement, and rarely do I get a move on it. Yesterday, almost it was moving. I almost had a trade, but almost doesn't count in trading. So I wouldn't even put any time to watching it today.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look here. What's gapping down now, guys? We're starting with CHPT leading the way. These guys are down 12.5 this morning, 544,000 shares traded. So, not sure what's bringing them down. Looks like after hours earnings on ChargePoint. So, not looking so good right now. They haven't been great, though. We used to trade this a lot when we had the EV mania. You guys remember that? This was one of the tickers that was definitely traded quite a bit by us. Now I don't see a whole lot going on. This pre-market activity doesn't look bad. Could be a good possible if you like stocks in this price area. I like them a little bit higher than this, but could be okay. We have to wait and see how the market open is going to treat this one.
Yeah, they had earnings after hours yesterday, and sort of disappointed the market. They didn't hit their numbers, and their forward-looking guidance was sort of weak. So I
Hmm.
think that's why it's on the list. I'd be cautious with this one as well. It's a potential, but because what do we got? We've got about 500, a little over 500,000 shares. It might create a play for us. It's certainly the the market seems to be very disappointed anyways in the news they produce. So we'll keep an eye on it, see what it does as we get closer to the open.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's head down to ZS here. So ZS at the moment, they're gapping down 10.9 right now. And again, just no volume really. Does not look like a great trader. They typically don't get great volume. So you can see down here the last couple of weeks really down below 5 million looks like. So we'll skip on this one. Let's head over to MRVL. Now this looks a little bit better. We're down 10% here. Light volume. Oh, this is Marvel, right? Or Marvel. How do you say it? Marvel, I think it is. Marvel or
No, it's
Marvel?
Marvell.
Yeah, is
I
this
think it's
the
Marvell,
yeah.
and
Uh,
they're one of the semiconductor companies that like I always forget to watch because they frankly don't usually do much interesting. So one of the
yeah.
last to report in the sector for earnings. Um, they actually had fairly good numbers. There was nothing wrong with their earnings report. In fact, they beat expectations from what I was looking at. But the market doesn't seem to be favorable towards them this morning. So, I mean, they are a laggard in the sector. So, you know what? I'm going to stick with my old favorites. I'm going to watch this sector. I'm going to watch AMD. I'm going to watch Nvidia.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Let's head down to another one on our list, CDIO, and this is yeah, not looking good. This was on our list yesterday, I think the day before. I mean, it's just been making a lot of noise here. But again, this is a lower flow stock at 5.3. They're trading with some volume here. Just be careful, guys, with these low flow stocks. We can't stress enough how dangerous they are. And if we look at this one, at least for the market open yesterday, you had one breakout and then just look at this drop here, right? So just might not be worth it. I think there's better tickers to trade. Again, if you're not experienced in doing this, avoid these at all costs. Now we start getting into Mara, Coin, Riot. So Peter, what's the latest and greatest on these coin-based tickers that are making some noise today?
Yeah, so these are moving together. Really, it's an industry move we're seeing here this morning. Um, Again, the industry continues to distance itself from Silvergate Capital. Remember, we've talked about this. Silvergate has sort of
Yeah.
announced that they may not be able to continue to maintain operations and may go bankrupt. As a result, Coinbase stopped distributions through them, and they were very favorable towards the crypto market. So I think what we're seeing is, again, a little concern re-enter, right, the crypto market, which is bringing down all of the related stocks. You know, this is going to be part of the ebb and flow of the market, right? We're going to see some successes and some failures, and this is unfortunately a secondary failure, but it's having a direct impact on the crypto market. So they might be worth watching. I mean, we're seeing, the pre-market volume isn't huge. Like Mara's got
Hmm.
the most, 670,000 shares, but if you like this sector, and especially if you like trading these stocks, it may be worth keeping an eye on. I personally, I want to see the volume pick up as we get closer towards the open and a little more activity. Coinbase has been the one that's been generally, I think, moving the best out of the three more recently. But feel free to put them on your list and see where it goes. So
Yeah.
that's what's happening.
Yeah. Out of all of these coins, the one that I really like the most, if at all, and today they're, again, like you said, they're gapping down here, but they're not getting great volume. We've seen coin do a lot better than this 352,000 they're getting now. So I'll put it as a possible for now, and let's
Yeah.
see if anything comes out of it. All right, that is all we have here, guys, on our list this morning. Peter, anything that you're looking at today that you're interested in?
Yeah, a couple more that I want to mention that had earnings that we should just talk about. We mentioned Marvell. We mentioned Checkpoint, which had earnings as well. And JWN is the other one that I wanted to talk about. They missed on revenue, beat on earnings. Um, oh, you got Johnson and Johnson there, but
What did you say?
JWN,
Oh, JW,
JWN.
excuse me. WN.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's one of
Nordstrom.
those tickers that
Nordstrom?
makes no sense compared. There you go. It's
Yeah,
Nordstrom. So
yeah.
they reported typically they don't get a lot of volume pre-market. So I'm not suggesting it's in play, but they had earnings, which makes them perhaps worth watching. The only one I have to mention it just because you know how near and dear to my heart it is. AMD interestingly had an typically an activist investor, but a big investor take a stake in it, which not terribly huge news. But I like the fact that other people are getting on board the AMD train. So all aboard,
Whether good
and
or bad, you're
we'll.
happy they're getting on.
That's right. To the
Yeah,
moon.
yeah. There you
Make it
go.
happen.
There you go. So
Uh,
AMD saw a really nice day yesterday. Again, the market was pushing higher, but AMD, if you look at yesterday's charts, guys, we were seeing just a massive push here. So Peter, if you did miss something, it would have been this right here. I mean, this thing was just incredible. Again, just really nice there on AMD. Okay, excellent. I will add
yeah.
AMD as a possible. I think right now. I mean, we got great volume, but we're not really gapping up a whole lot at the moment, right? But we do have 956,000, which does seem quite nice this morning. So if I don't have anything else that looks great, I'm definitely going to move that up because the volume is there. All right, let's take him. I see Peter is sharing his tattoo, and I got to share this with our YouTube friends, of course. So let me just put this over here so you can see one of the tattoos that Peter is at least thinking about getting at the moment here. So we'll see how that goes. All right,
Well,
excellent.
yeah, I
So
mean, I got to
yeah,
represent, in myself and the brand. Though, of course, this is what I look like from behind, just so you're all clear. But
this is the tattoo you actually have, and if you're in San
my
Diego,
yeah, my
you might get a
ND tramp
glimpse of
stamp.
this.
I'm good.
Excellent. All right, guys, let's get going here. So let's see what you guys are watching this morning. Let's head over to our friends here on our chat. Let's see what you guys got today. So Meta, let's take a look at Meta this morning and see what's happening there. Oh, Meta has a nice pre-market activity. I like this. Beautiful daily too, because we're breaking out of an area here. We're trying at least this 177.90 does look very interesting there. So yeah, I think this is worth putting on the list. Is there anything going on with Meta? This move looks very driven by something. So not sure if there's any news on this thing. They're just checking here. I'm not seeing anything significant.
Oh,
Positive news. An upgrade? Yeah, I'm not picking it up. But either way, I'll add it on here. This looks very good today. The way this thing is moving up 2%. So yeah, definitely gonna keep an eye on this one. Um, Tesla, of course.
we can't
Ben,
go without mentioning Tesla, Carlos. We
yeah,
got to talk about Tesla. I mean,
yeah,
it's been actually a surprisingly good trader over the last couple of weeks, and I never used to like to watch Tesla at all. I love the fact that the price has been reduced. It's made it much more in my comfort zone in terms of where I can trade, and it's been pretty consistent. So the spread I find has come down into a manageable space, and it's been given some pretty good moves. Again this morning, nothing special, right? It's not there's nothing moving it specifically, but I just think it's a good one to put on your list and watch because it's been getting the volume and getting the momentum.
yeah, absolutely. It's definitely gonna be on our list. It's been so great to watch this one, and we had a nice, not as big as a move like AMD, but we did have a nice move yesterday as well on it. All right, let's take a look here. I am going to see what do we have going on. What else do we have here? Let's take a look at. Oh, you guys are quiet with the tickers this morning. Only Meta and Tesla, and I am locked out of my YouTube, so I can't see the YouTube comments. I'm gonna get on it now for some reason. I don't know why I got locked out. So we'll look at some YouTube stuff in a second. Let's take a look at Apple. Yeah, Apple does look good as well. I do like Apple this morning. Again, we're just talking about how it hasn't been trading so well, but this pre-market activity, Peter, this is what we're used to seeing, the 702,000 type volume on Apple this early on. This looks really, really good. So I'm gonna add this to the list here.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking Apple. Well, I mean, you never know, right? When the market opens, Apple could go like crazy. So if it does, we'll be ready for it.
Yeah,
On
absolutely.
YouTube, I noticed that somebody's asking whether there's anything happening with the airline industry, DAL and AAL. So I was just looking it up myself to see if there's anything going on. What do they look like? I don't have market charts, Carlos. I'm going to Trading Terminal here to pull up some real-time charts. Doesn't
Very
look like
nice.
there's really much pre-market activity on them.
Yeah, I'm
So
not.
I'm not really
What's the
seeing a
news?
whole
I'm not
lot.
seeing anything. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything as far as
Yeah.
volume. They're slightly up. American Airlines up almost 1% here. Very light volume. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it, or also check our scanners right at tradingterminal.com. And if any of these come up, we can definitely take advantage of it. So, but at the moment, I'm not seeing a whole lot on it. Uh, there we go. Okay,
I mean, there
perfect.
was some news on American Airlines. They sort of talked out that they're going all in their $15 billion job or debt cutting plan. They're going to try and reduce their debt to help forward operations. But other than that, I mean, I don't see anything on these. I used to love to trade the airlines, but
Oh yeah.
that was a good 2 years ago. And the last little while, I thought with the resurgence with everything opening up they would sort of take off and give us some good momentum. But they haven't really. I mean, I can't say they haven't moved, but they just haven't given good trading opportunities.
Yeah, yeah, fully agree with that. It hasn't been the same. We used to have a lot of fun with this one. If you guys remember, also CCL and NCLH, the cruise lines were also heavily in play during that time. Um, All right, let's see what else we have here, guys. What else you guys like this morning? Baba. We'll take a look at Baba and Nvidia. Let's see. Baba today, I mean, they got volume, 1.2 million shares traded. They're not really gapping up or down, which is the situation I like to see them in. They're just pretty much flat right now. But when they're gapping up or down, you get a better move as you see here, right? So especially on the gap up, as you guys know, we like to take this short if there's any signs of weakness. So it could be a tough one today. The volume is there, but we'll have to wait till the market open if it's going to give us any type of opportunity. I am just not seeing anything on it right now. Let's take a look at Nvidia. Nvidia was good yesterday, had an amazing run, guys. So if you come back over here, you can see how beautiful that breakout looks like. The semis, right? AMD and Nvidia both did really, really good. So you can see that there. I am going to add Nvidia as well. Looks very promising. If we can get something out of it, 410,000 right now. It is flat at the moment, but that's okay. I mean, they had such an incredible run yesterday. We'll see if they can get even half a move like that today would be amazing. So Nvidia, AMD. What else do we have? CSCO had earnings. This is Cisco, right? Yeah, they had earnings. You
Yeah.
sure? I don't show earnings here. Did they?
Oh, I'm sorry. We're
Oh,
reconfiguring
that's
here.
okay.
Brian's
That's
throwing
okay.
everything off.
No worries, no worries. I don't recall if we had earnings on Cisco or not. Let me check.
Let's
CSCO.
see. Yeah, I don't see any particular news. If anybody knows any news on Cisco, let me know because they had earnings 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I think it was a little while ago. So I'm not seeing anything new on it. So what? Yeah,
Yeah, I
I got
think.
nothing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They had
Marvell
earnings a
reported
while
yes,
ago.
but not Cisco.
Yeah. All right. Let's head over to AMD. We have Baba. We have Costco. COST.
Yeah, in the chat room
Costco.
they're mentioning Costco. Costco and I aren't trading buddies. For
Mm-hmm.
whatever reason, Costco doesn't like me, so I tend to avoid it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they did have earnings. I think the big news there was really the fact that they sort of had some mixed results, but the fact that the holiday spending, as they reported it, was not up to expectations. That sort of was taking some wind out of the sails of Costco. And they're I don't think I was looking to see if they provided any forward guidance, but it doesn't look like they did. So Costco's I don't know.
Yeah,
If
it's,
you
it's,
want
it's,
it,
it's
it's
a
all
tough one.
yours
Yeah, it's a tough
out
one.
there.
All right, excellent, guys.
I'll
Let's
leave it to
stop
you.
right here. Let's head over to our community events and announcements that are coming up for the following week. So head over to our website, bearboottrades.com, and you can see what's coming up for the next 2 weeks.
I like how Green Machine is saying that they've got a Costco in Iceland. I've been to that Costco actually, right after it opened. But anyways, um, what a morning we've got here because we're here in San Diego. We're up on stage. Look, I got my buddy Brian right beside me. There's Brian. Look at that. Hey, morning everybody. And Andrew was right here. Look at this. Andrew's already got his watch list posted. I might have to actually move to the West Coast just to force Andrew to get up nice and early and be ready in the morning. But we'll I'll worry about doing that later if I can convince him. Maybe I'll crash in his apartment. Um, but in terms of our room activities, every week we have a full slate of activities that are happening. We're on a Friday, which means that we've completed yet another week of activity, and we can look forward to next week. Mondays we always have our Got to get my mic feedback done. We always have our onboarding session for any new members. That's when we welcome new members into the room. We give them an oversight of what trading's about and how to get most value out of Bear Bull and the chat room and all of the facilities and education and material that we've got. Carlos leads that. That's at 8 o'clock in the classroom, and we welcome our new members. Here today, in fact, at this conference, we were very, very happy to see that almost a full third of the people that are attending are not current members. They're just found us online and decided to check us out. So if you're new and you're not part of the community, thank you for being here, and we welcome you. On Tuesdays, we always talk about strategy and our trade books. I bumped my session. So on Tuesday coming up on the 7th of March, I'm going to be talking about that 1 to 10 trade. So Carlos, maybe you should go. I can teach you all about it, and we can figure out how we
Yes.
can get you trading more actively into the close. It's a strategy I use that happens every day at 3:50. You don't always find a trade, but at least we know what to look for. So I'll be going over that in detail. That's at 8 o'clock in the webinar room. And then the week after, we don't know. Carlos, have you figured out? We don't know what's happening the week after, do we?
No, we don't. We don't. But we will get that. We will definitely have something happening. That's for sure. We'll put it up as soon as we
Yeah.
have that info. Yep.
All right. Well, we'll figure that out. There is always something. We'll have the slot filled. Wednesdays are about psychology, and this Wednesday we had a great session. And then next Wednesday we were able to. We're going to be welcoming Creta, and Creta is always an early session because she is coming to us live from Scotland. And so that's at 5 o'clock in the webinar room. I love Creative Sessions because I did some personal mentoring with her, and I think she's fantastic. So, listening to the psychology stuff, trust us. If you're still thinking it's all about the tools and the technology, you're either going to learn the hard way or you'll believe us up front that it's mostly about your psychology. So pay attention to these. So that'll be happening next Wednesday on March the 8th. And then the 15th, we've got Mike back at the regular time at 8 o'clock talking about how you can show yourself the money. Thursdays, yesterday, we did our mentorship, and I actually don't even know if these happened yesterday. So, but next Wednesday we'll be back. Everybody will be back in their regular spots, and we'll be having our mentorship sessions with John at 11 o'clock in the webinar room, and then a Thor at 8 o'clock, which happens virtually every week. Today, Friday, normally we would have our secondary chat room, which is all about options open, where Megan and Jared talk options Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Now, that's not open today because they're here helping out in the room. But next week on Monday they will be back at it, and hopefully, if you want options, they were strong arming me last night to get in there because they said, Peter, you're embarrassing us. You have no idea how options work, and we need to get your butt in there. We'll teach you. Don't worry. We'll treat you kind, and we'll let you know how it works. So I'll have to start going to the options chat room. They've promised me some tender loving, so I can't turn that down. So, but if you want to learn about options, the options chat room is a place to go. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it's open sort of in the morning, and then right afternoon for an hour. With that, let's get to setting some levels. Actually, you know what? Before that, I should talk to you about a couple of things that we got going on. We are, yeah, look at this. We're live streaming some of the material that we've got, or at least posting onto Twitter. There's Andrew. Look at that. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed here well before the open, setting up this platform. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, here we are in San Diego for another day of trading. And we'll be here all day with a whole another day of strategy and psychology sessions that we've got. So yesterday was a lot of fun. I got to meet a ton of new people and some old friends that are here. There's Kim. Kim did a session for us yesterday, coming to us from Hawaii to do her session on psychology, and she's a personal coach. Oh, look at that. You got some live video. Fantastic. So yeah, that's what the room looks like. Here we are. We'll be doing some live feeds from the chat room a little bit later as well. So we'll be talking to you all day. If you're in the room and you weren't able to make it, maybe next time, right? You'll be here with us live. If you do want to join us as part of the community, we always have options for that, and we welcome any new members to the community. If you wanted to join, you can join us on a trial basis. Just test it out, right? See if you like the community online, how it works, and does it benefit you. Use the code PreMarket24 to get a $24 discounted rate come into the room. And then if you want to join us on a more regular basis, you can join any one of our membership levels, the basic, the elite, or the best value, which is the elite annual. So hopefully we'll see you in the chat room and you can fully take advantage of that. All right. All that being said, we have a couple of levels. We've got our moderators that are filing in here, and hopefully we'll get into the room and start setting theirs up. Most of our moderators are not trading today, so Carlos, be aware we might not get as many watch lists from them because we're supporting our members here in the room today. But we're around, if not trading.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you for that, Peter. Guys, let's jump right in here to our levels on the few tickers that we have today, which look okay. And we'll see how they're going to be trading at the market open here. Let's start with AI. AI looking very, oh, look at this drop on AI in the last couple of minutes. That is looking very promising for some weak opportunities here. So we'll see what's going on. What was AI's report? Was it good numbers? What's the guidance on this thing? That's the most interesting thing, right? This AI thing is very new. What does the guidance look like? So we'll do levels, Peter. If you could dive into that, I would love to know. I know that's the hot topic right now is AI, and how is this going to be used in the future and monetized? That's the thing. How can you monetize AI to make it somewhat profitable on some of these companies? Because everybody's throwing the hot word around AI, but yeah, what does that mean for your bottom line? Let's take a look here at AI this morning. 25.80 is the high of the pre-market. 24.34 is the low of the pre-market. Above the highs, we do have a nice level here. 26.74. We had a lot of resistance there in the past. You can see here and a couple of days kind of struggling to get above that. And if they did, they slammed right below that one more time to this 25.77 high of the pre-market that we have right now. Now, below the pre-market, we do have a couple of areas here, but the most significant level I see on the daily is going to be this 23.46. Might actually be 23.50, but that one you can see has tons of touches on here. So the price has been flirting with this one quite a bit. That is a good level of support if we do decide to drop there. Now, between the middle of 23 and the low of the pre-market, this will be a minor support resistance. Don't put too much weight on it, but you have at least 3 days opening, closing, and slamming against this 24 level. So you definitely want to have that there just in case we do drop. Peter, not sure if you were able to find anything on AI and what their earnings looks like for today. Well, not today, was yesterday, right? I believe. AI was yesterday after hours.
I can't. You talking to
Is
me, Carlos? I can't hear
uh
you at all. We got
you
everybody's
can't
getting more active in the room here. We got a little more
no
noise, and
worries, no
it's getting
worries.
harder for me to hear you. So sorry about that.
I know how that is, my friend. No worries. Let's go ahead over to Meta. We'll set some levels on Meta now. So Meta here breaking out,
Okay.
breaking out here on up 2.3, 473,000. And you can see here we got a good pre-market activity on Meta, guys. 473,000 shares traded is actually really good volume. I have the pre-market 178.78, and above this we do have 181.43. And slightly above that. I guess a little messy here, but you do have 183.90 just in case we're going to be ripping back to the area where we gapped up before. We hung out here for a while, lost it, found a new support level, and trying to push higher at this moment. For the last towards the bottom, the last two trading days are doing a pretty good job here for you. You do not have to add anything else. Tesla, guys, let's take a look at this bad boy this morning. Already 3.2 million, which seems to be like their number around this time, right? Usually 3 million plus on Tesla. High of the pre-market at the moment, we're looking at 195.94. Once you put a level there, you're literally stuck between the midpoint of the highs and lows of the last two trading days, right? It's just kind of almost a little bit below it, but right smack in the middle of it. These are your two highs and lows, more two highs and lows around here as well. So I think you're pretty set as far as levels. Towards the top, we do have one big level which we have to note down here, which might be around 200 bucks. I show it at 201.73 right now. You can see that tons of touches on that area right on there. Here is Apple. Apple as well towards the bottom, plenty of levels. You do not need to add anything else. Let's head over towards the top of the things. We're looking at a high of the pre-market 148.23. Above that, we do have 149.19, and then slightly above that 150.35. So that's looking pretty good right there as far as Apple goes. And this morning, I'm seeing better pre-market activity that we've seen in the past. So it's looking very promising, hopefully,
Smilander.
for us on Apple here. Let's see, where's did you get them? uh, let's see here. Yeah, so that is our watches, my friends. We do have some of our moderators also on deck here with some of their lists. We'll jump on that in a second. Right now, let's look at Nvidia. Nvidia had a monster day yesterday alongside AMD. Both of them slightly quiet this morning, but hopefully we can get some good activity out of these guys. I have the pre-market 234.59, and if we look above that, we have a level of 236.55 and over at 238.35. So that looks good towards the top side and towards the bottom below the previous day close. We do have a level on 229.72. So we are set as far as levels. AI looking pretty good here. Very aggressive drop lately. That's very interesting. Meta also continues to rock on here. Tesla is going to be a blockbuster as always. Apple looking very good. Nvidia looking great. So looking forward to this market open this morning. Over on YouTube, guys, hit that thumbs up. Really appreciate it. And apologies, I'm usually texting you guys, but I was locked out completely until now. And I had one of these passwords that was like generated by the computer, and it was like 15 characters long. So that was a pain to type in while doing this show. But I appreciate you guys hanging out here on YouTube. If you could hit that thumbs up, we really appreciate it. And pardon that I couldn't text you guys as we do every morning. I see we have Jonathan on here. We have Iron. We have Melanie, of course. You're always on deck. But Shoto, Triple D, Robert, Hitchin. I'm going to kill some of these names, but that's okay. Natharion. Yeah, perfect. There's Peter, Stefan. Excellent. Sam, Jonathan. Beautiful, guys. Leonardo. Excellent. Glad to see you guys on deck. Thank you so much for joining the pre-market show live this morning. Sweet. Let's go to our moderators lineup today, guys. See what we got going on here. Yeah.
Carlos, one that I was just looking at Oxy or the oil sector. We're seeing a little bit of a drop down here at the moment, and I know that some of our members in the room were talking about it. The sort of some collapse of oil prices. I got to dig into that a little bit more, but Oxy might come back into play this morning as we're seeing some early market movement on it.
Oxy. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, Oxy's one of my favorites for sure. I'm gonna put Oxy right here on deck. Yeah, we are actually for Oxy guys. This is interesting pre-market activity. You might not think it is, but these guys don't barely move, barely get volume. Even on their earnings day, they really were trading pretty poor, but today they're looking rather interesting. So we'll see if that continues. Just started to pick up, so we need a little more time. But at the market open, hopefully we can get some kind of move out of this. All right, 9:15. We're gonna go ahead and get our moderators list up. Then we're gonna hand it off to the team over that's going to be going live here and also in San Diego. Continue to keep those pictures coming, guys. I see a lot of great pictures on Twitter. Make sure, as I mentioned before, you're following Andrew at Bearable Traders on Twitter on the handle, and then tag us on the pictures you are posting and sharing. All right, here we go, guys. Andrew, yeah, go ahead.
And well, I like to pick on Andrew because he didn't hear me last time because he wasn't here, so I got to pick on him again. But when have we ever had Andrew's watch? Come here, Andrew. When have we ever had Andrew's watch list first on the list? Heck, I mean, I said we just got to get him live in a room, and then we can get your attention, man. More than 5 minutes before the market opens. So there you go.
Excellent.
But anyways,
excellent.
yes, Andrew's going to be watching TQQQ, Tesla, Meta, and Apple. So, and as we know, Andrew flows with the market. So we'll see what's moving. He's probably going to pick things up. I put up my IPO. There's only one on the slate for today, NFTU. We'll see if that actually opens. Sometimes on the Fridays they don't and they get pushed to the next week, but we'll find out. And then, well, Carlos, I'll let you take the rest of them.
Yeah, no worries, man. Here's Eamon. Eamon's list longer than usual today. I like that. Potential longs, Baba, Gilead, I believe that is, and Nvidia. And he's feeling kind of long biased today, so feeling a little happy there for Eamon. Susan is looking at Tesla and Apple. Peter, your list is there. I'm not sure if you read it, but I'll read it again. AMD, Tesla, AI, secondary coin, and Apple. And Brian, MRVL, Tesla, AI, and coin for him today. So guys, that is the moderators list. Trading live from San Diego should be a lot of fun. Again, cannot wait to continue to see more pictures like this one, guys. Keep them coming over at Twitter, also on Instagram at Bearable Traders. So beautiful, beautiful thing. All right, I think we are all set. Peter, any last words from your end as you guys get ready to rock and roll over there?
Well, like I've been saying all morning, right? We're having a lot of fun here. It's always great to have these in-person sessions. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing how our traders trade as we head live into the open. Brian and Andrew will be taking over on stage here, and then once the live trading is done, we'll be going into our presentation material and talking strategy and some psychology. So yeah, another great day here in San Diego, and it's the weather's actually gotten back to the way it should be too. When we got here, it was rainy, very un-San Diego like, but it's 72 and sunny again. So the world has settled back on its axis. So that's a good thing. So hopefully, when next time we do a live event, you'll have the opportunity to join us here. And as you say, we'll do our best to get our pictures posted. If you're in the room, feel free, right? Share it on social media, get it out there, and we'll get things going. Stormy, it's funny. A couple people were commenting in the room that they said, "Oh my God, are you actually that bubbly?" And I'm like, I don't know, like yes, yes, because as I say, I live
Yeah.
a stress-free life. I mean, come on, I get to trade all day and have fun and
Yeah.
fly
Yeah.
to San Diego and hang out with some awesome people. I mean, life's good. I got nothing to complain about.
Life is good, my friend. Life is good. Everyone, thank you so much for joining the pre-market prep. We're gonna head over to our chat room now, and Peter's gonna head over to his conference there as well with the rest of the BBT family. Guys, over on YouTube, if you haven't done so already, hit that thumbs up. Sitting at 171, would love to be at 250. That is like our feel good number. So if we can get there, we really, really appreciate it. We'll be back on Monday over on YouTube at 8 a.m. Eastern time with engineering the markets, and then followed by pre-market prep with myself and Peter. Have an amazing weekend, guys. We will see you on Monday.